Sports fans, we are live. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, OG the Beast. Here with me as always, Uncle Chltwn32. Dubs in the chat if you could hear us loud and clear. You know, we had a guest last week, so Unc, how you running though?
I got my Dukes up like my natives from St. Peter's College in Jersey City. I got my Dukes up today.
You might need them because we got some
Yeah.
discussions that needed to be discussed. We
Mm-hmm.
got
I
some
got my
shit
Dukes
that
up
needed
today.
we got some shit that needed to be discussed, most definitely. Bob and weave, coach. Bob and weave. You're gonna have to use all of that today. Cause you know when I come with it, I come with it. I seen you and you and Hoopology got into a little scuffle on TikTok over this viral sound that's been trendy. You go on Player's Choice and you get with Jason Williams and y'all get to cutting up. We get to talking about the all-time greatest Lakers and Jason Williams say, hey, I don't even know if Kobe in the top 5. I'm like, man. But first and foremost, man, shout out to the loyals on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, please drop a follow or a sub. You know, hit that like button if you enjoy it. Shout me out in the comments. Let me know how you feeling, how you vibing, anything, any suggestions you want, anything that can help improve the show, something you like, something you dislike, anything. That goes for the same loyals that's here on Twitch right now, right here, right now. That's live with us right here, right now. We appreciate every single one of y'all. Like I say, we got some loyals in here. You know what I'm saying? Cardell is in here. Shout out to my man Cardell. We got Diesel in here.
Diesel, what up, brother?
Let me see what's going on. We had some other guys in here, but it's not letting me scroll right now. We have some other cats in here, but anyway, you know, shout out to everybody that's love the pod. Slammer, shout out to you, man. Slammer223 says he loves the pod, man. Appreciate y'all joining in, tuning in with us live every Tuesdays will be back pretty soon, but for the most part right now, every Friday, Barbershop Fridays, 8 p.m. Central Time. Come join us, man. Come check us out. Like Unc always say, the door is always open. You ain't even got to get your hair cut. You ain't even got to get faded up. Just chill. You know.
Got checkers over here. We got chess over there. Yo, we got Wi-Fi in here. Just come hang out.
Yeah,
we got home country club.
We got everything you need. You know what I'm saying? We got everything you need. Straight
like
that. Yeah,
come hang out, man. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, though, because I want to apologize to Hoopology. I think that's who it was.
Yeah, that was Hoopology.
Because I did it wasn't Hoopology. I ended up.
No, it was Theo NFL. It was Theo.
Yeah, I ended up making a video, and I think I jumped the gun. And the reason why was because I was basically getting attacked from every different angle. So my mind was just here. Like anytime I heard anything from anybody, it was like, let's go. As opposed to, yo, calm your nerves. Everybody ain't after you. Even though you might seem like they are, everybody isn't after you right now. So relax. So I ended up taking the video down because I realized that I jumped the gun, and I want to apologize to my man because I was out of line for that. My fault.
Okay, that's a formal apology to Theo Theo NFL, Theo Ash NFL. So shout out to you. You know, Uncle Chltwn just apologized because I seen the video. It was a little rough. I'm like, damn, he kind of came in my man Theo, man. Shout out to Theo, man. Them boys over there on what's the name of their podcast? I can't think of the name of their podcast.
It's called Stay On.
Stay Hot. That's the name of the pod. It's him, okay. Spawn Hour, and Bladen K. So they doing their thing over there. Shout out to them boys. They rocking it. But yeah, man, you know, there it is. But to get I mentioned Hoopology because me and Hoopology had a thing recently about that topic. He said it wasn't close, or he said it was close, but he was making an argument for Magic. Not an issue with it. The only issue I took with it was the fact that in order to make his case for Magic, he was kind of disrespectful to Kobe, and I don't like when people be disrespectful to my man Kobe Bean. So I gotta check in. You know how I rock. But to get to know where you're going, you got to know where you've been. Let's start from the beginning. So you go to Player's Choice, and y'all have a conversation. It's you and it's Low and is Shaq, Jordan, Dale, the rest of the crew. Jason Williams, former NBA player for the Miami Heat. So y'all get on there, y'all get to talk, and a discussion comes up about the Lakers, the all-time greatest Lakers. Kobe comes in the conversation. You mentioned that Kobe is right outside of your top 10. And he mentions the fact that he doesn't even know, he's not even sure if Kobe is a top 5 Laker of all time, because he says, hey, Kobe might not be that high up on my list. I'm not even sure if he's the best at his own squad, so let alone be the best in my, be somewhere near my top 10. That's basically what he was trying to say. Then you follow up with the trendy words. That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that. So you've been getting drilled. I looked at the research. 10,000 plus stitches and duets on that video using that word to create. It's been non-sports content creators using that shit on a platform, talking about females, Halle Berry, like in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I done seen it all. I went through at least about 100 of them, right? So first and foremost here on this show, I want you to clear the air because like you said, you was getting attacked and Theo was the guy that you decided to clap back at, and he got all the heat that's been, ran down on you from all different angles. So clear the air on what exactly you meant when you said that's not ridiculous to Jay Will's comments about Kobe Bryant might not being a top 5 Laker of all time.
This conversation, Jason Williams said, quote, I'm not sure he's a top 5 Laker all time. I said that's not ridiculous simply because the Los Angeles Lakers did not start in 1996 when Kobe Bryant showed up. There is a pantheon of Lakers. And not only is there a pantheon of Lakers, there's a pantheon of great Lakers, and there's a pantheon of people who absolutely love the Lakers, who will make a case for other people. Now, that's not to say that that was me, because I have Kobe in my top 3 Lakers of all time. I don't have him in my top 5. I have him in my top 3 of Lakers all time. But there are people who will make a case for Chamberlain. There'll be people who make a case for Elgin Baylor, for Jerry West, for Diesel, for James Worthy, for Jamal Wilkes, for George Mikan. I know that sounds ridiculous, but George Mikan he was on 5 of their 7 championship teams. So five championships in 7 years. So there are people who will make a case for it, and it will have some merit to it. So that's why I said this is not ridiculous to say, simply off of that, simply off the strength that there have been so many great Lakers. And the Laker organization, we're talking about an organization, I believe they have the most Hall of Famers in the history of the NBA.
No doubt.
There's no team in the NBA that has more Hall of Famers than the Lakers.
It's not close either.
Right. So to just say that, it's not ridiculous to say, because there are some people who feel like that. I'm not one of those people, but there are some people who feel like that, which is why I said that. So
for the record, that post not only went viral with TikTok, but it also went viral with major sports networks like ESPN and Bleacher Report. And everybody was saying former NBA player Jason Williams says Kobe's not a top 5 Laker. He later on recanted his statement. I don't know if it was in an interview or I think it was on Twitter or whatever the case may be, but Jason Williams later recanted his statement, and I think he called Kobe the greatest Laker of all time. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to clear the air with that. And also to follow up with, you said Kobe's in your top 3. So give me your top 5 Lakers of all time. Let's clear this shit up. What's your top 5 Lakers of all time?
Just like you don't like to go to top 10, let's not go to top 5. Let's keep it spicy. I got Bryant at 3, Jabbar at 2, and Magic at 1. At the top of the list, Magic was the most impactful, Jabbar was the most dominant, Bryant was the most talented. In the 70-plus year history of the Los Angeles Lakers, those 3 guys are in that category. Once again, there was nobody that was more impactful on the Lakers than Magic. There was nobody that was more dominant than Jabbar. We're talking about a guy who, for 8 years, not for 8 years, I'm sorry, 5 of his 6 league MVPs, he got them with the Los Angeles Lakers. Won 3 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers. Not only did he win 3 championships with the Los Angeles, not only did he win 5 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers. I want to make sure that because like I told you,
you screwed up a little bit.
The thing that needs to be understood here is I've been getting a lot of heat. So I want to make sure that I get my story straight. Right. I want to make sure that I get my story straight
because this is going up.
Absolutely. I want to make sure that I get my story straight.
You are definitely on the record.
So we got Jabbar, who In the 6 NBA championships he got, 5 of them he got with the Lakers.
There you go.
Right? In the 6 league MVPs he got, 3 of them he got with the Lakers.
No.
All right?
Yes. He got 5 in the 70s. He got 1 with the Lakers.
He got 5 in the 70s. Actually, that's not true. He got 3 of them with the Lakers. All right? He got 3 of them with Milwaukee.
League MVPs?
Yes, sir. He got 3 of them with Milwaukee, and he got the other 3 with the Lakers.
Okay, so he got 1 the year before.
Yes, sir.
You sure?
He won it in 75, 76.
Okay,
he won it in
75. I thought he got there 76, 77 with the Lakers.
Yeah, he won it no, he didn't win it in 77. That would be Bill Walton, sir.
No, I'm saying I thought he got to. When did he get to the Lakers?
He got to the Lakers in 75. That's when he got. That was the first year he won it. Now, remember, a lot of people give him flack for that. A lot of people give him heat for that. The fact that he won the league MVP that year when they had a losing record. Right. Now, I need you guys to remember what happened that year. Even though they had a losing record, Jabbar led the league in minutes. He led the league in field goal percentage. He was second in the league in scoring. He led the league in PER. He led the league in rebounding.
He had an incredible individual season, but that's not the criteria.
He led the league in blocks. Mm-hmm. He led the league in offensive win shares. He led the league in defensive win shares. He led the league in offensive plus minus. He led the league in defensive plus minus. He led the league in overall win shares. There has not been anybody who has done all of that in one season than Jabbar. Nobody. Now, fast forward the clock to him winning the league MVP in the 79-80 season.
Right.
All right.
That's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, well, he did win the league MVP. That was the year Magic showed up.
Right.
All right. That was the year Magic showed up. So Jabbar has been one of those guys who's been, when he retired as the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. He also retired 3rd all-time in rebounding. He played 14 years with the Lakers. 3rd all-time in rebounding. And he retired as the all-time shot block leader. 14 of those 20 years was with the Lakers.
Right.
All right. 14 of those 20 years was with the Lakers. So he's at number 2 on my list. When I look at Magic, there has been nobody that has been more impactful from the door to the minute he left. I haven't seen that. Magic was that guy from day one. And he was that up until he retired. We got robbed of Magic 4 years. He got cut down in he had to retire in year 12. All right? And him having to retire in year 12, he was only 32 years old. He was in his prime. So that's 4 years until he came back that was 4 years that we got robbed of him. Mm-hmm. So in that process, how much better he would have been. But from the time he showed up, which was the 79 season, until he had to retire in 91, that's 12 years. We're talking about a dude who's in the NBA Finals 9 times in 12 years. He was all NBA. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was all NBA 9 of those 12 years. Not 9, yeah. First team all NBA. He was nine times in 10 years. No, we're talking about Magic.
You talking about Magic?
From the minute, we're talking about the minute he walked in the door, he was that dude. So with that being said, those 2 guys are at the top of my list. When I look at Kobe Bryant and I look at the impact that he had on the Lakers and the fact that he wasn't as appreciated when he was around, that's the thing that bothers me the most about him.
To be honest with you, Unc, I agree with that, but I still think it's a lot of Kobe hate. It was Kobe hate when he was alive. To this day, though, even with him gone, I still believe it's a lot of Kobe. I hear it a lot. I find myself having to defend Kobe a lot.
And the ill thing is that as much as there is now, it was even more back then when he was around.
No doubt.
Right? It was more when he was around. So that's why it bothers me. That's why it bothers me when I hear these people with the love that they're giving him, because I'm thinking to myself, where were you guys at when he was around? Because he needed that. Mm-hmm. He needed to hear that from you guys because he was awesome, right? He was absolutely awesome. And then quick side note, St. Peter's, Jersey City in the house, they just dropped Purdue. I just want to put that out there. They just dropped Purdue, all right? And they go first 15 seed in the history of the tournament going to the Elite Eight. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, when I think about Kobe Bryant and I think about his impact, when I think about his skill set, when I think about his talent, he's the most talented guy that I've seen with the Lakers. That includes Magic, that includes Jabbar, that includes James Worthy, that includes Jamal Wilkes, that includes Norm Nixon, that includes all the great Lakers, Pau Gasol, you name them. None of those guys are in terms of pure talent, none of them had what Bryant had. None of them. But when I look at what the impact that Magic had, when I look at the dominance of Jabbar, those guys sit ahead of him on the pantheon of Lakers. That's it, though. I ain't Diesel, nope. Elgin Baylor, nope. Jerry West, nope. Chamberlain, nope. Mm-mm.
Jerry West is close, though, because I think Jerry West is one of the few guys from the 60s, 70s era that could transition pretty damn well in today's game. I think Jerry West doesn't get the credit that he deserves. And today, he's more of a humble guy, more humble than he was, of course, back then. Now he's like, but when you ask around the league, even before Kobe passed away, when you listen to former players, which is actually something that I don't like to do, I don't trust the intuition or the judgment of former players or current players because they lists and shit is always blasphemy. They go off feeling versus accolades, numbers. Half these guys really don't even know the history of the game like they should, to be honest with you. They really not students of the game. They don't study numbers. They don't study accolades. They don't, like we do. But most of the guys, to go against my own statement, most of the guys that were current players that played back when Kobe played, even before, Magic said Kobe's the greatest Laker ever. Shaq, Kobe's the greatest Laker ever. Jerry West said Kobe's the greatest Laker ever. Most of the Lakers, all-time Lakers that you talk to, they all say Kobe. Sometimes you might hear Magic, but to be honest with you, that's the only debate. That's why I got offended when Jason Williams said, I don't even know if he's top 5. So for you to not even think he's top 5 or be unsure about him being top 5, let's make this clear. We're talking about what you did in a Lakers uniform, not who's the better player to play for the Lakers. Because if that's the case, LeBron is the greatest Laker of all time. And that's not even a question. It's about what you did in that purple and gold, right? And when I think about that, when I think Lakers, I think two people. I think Magic, I think Kobe. That should be the only debate. Like you said, your 1 and 2 was Magic and Kobe. Point blank, period. 20 years in a Lakers jersey. You know how many all defensive teams Kobe had. He's got an MVP. Kobe is one of the few guys. My argument to Hoopology was, yeah, Kobe missed the playoffs 3 times in his tenure with the Lakers, right? There's reasons, legitimate reasons for why he missed the playoffs. Albeit the team was garbage, kind of like what LeBron is going through right now, but LeBron might have had a better team than what Kobe had in 2005. You know what I'm saying? So
on paper, he does. On paper, he does.
Yeah, on paper, most definitely. Mm-hmm. I mean, LeBron at least had another 20-point score. Kobe didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? So Magic was blessed into a great situation. How many players in NBA history can you say were taken with the number 1 overall pick, and when they got drafted, they had a teammate win MVP? How many players in NBA history can you say that? Nobody. Magic's the only player in NBA history to be taken with the number 1 overall pick and his teammate win the MVP in his rookie campaign. It's never happened. That's what type of situation Magic Johnson was blessed into. So imagine if Magic was blessed into a normal number 1 overall pick situation to where he had to carry the load, which he definitely did not do his rookie year, albeit they won a championship and he was the finals MVP. Kareem probably should have won that. Kareem went nuts in that NBA Finals, but because he got hurt, Magic steps in, the rest is history. They gave it to him, right? But Magic Johnson didn't lead the league, didn't lead his team in points. He didn't lead his team in assists. He didn't lead his team in rebounds. He wasn't carrying the load as a rookie. Although he was a great rookie, he wasn't carrying the load as a rookie. Kareem led it in points. Norm Nixon led the team in assists. Kareem led the team in rebounds. So it's like, Magic had a solid year. He was averaging like 16, 7 and 7. But
he got on a team. He got on a team that was already loaded. They was already good.
That's my point.
He was the difference in what it was that they were. He was the difference in what it was that pushed them over the top. He was the difference in that.
Right.
All right, I can definitely get with that logic.
That's what I'm. Okay. That's my logic behind it. He was blessed into a great situation. He wasn't blessed into a normal number 1 overall pick situation to where Mike had to come in and save a franchise. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But when
it's a fact.
No, but here's why we're not doing that. We're not doing that simply because Kobe was also blessed into a great situation.
Let me get to that.
Okay.
Let me get to that. Kobe was also blessed into a great situation. That's the other half of my argument. But what was your closing statement when you were discussing Magic Johnson? We got stripped of 4 years of Magic Johnson due to AIDS. He had to
We got
retire
robbed.
by his 12th season, right? So Kobe Bryant was also born into a great situation. In 96, getting drafted with a team that had Eddie Jones on it, Shaquille O'Neal, Rick Fox, the whole nine. He got drafted also with another guy that he won multiple championships with in Derek Fisher. They came out the same draft in 96. So it's like, okay, you blessed into a great situation. So what did he do? He took advantage of it. He became the player that he inevitably became. But that foundation that he was blessed into fell from underneath him. He had to physically rebuild it himself. That's an entirely different learning curve from coming into a situation and being the reason why we excel, the piece that fits the inevitable puzzle, versus being the one piece and having to place the other pieces. Here, you go here. Now I got to solve a 200-piece puzzle. See, the difference is Magic Johnson was the last piece to that puzzle that was going to put us over the top. So there's no solving. There's no fixing. Just bring me, my ass, and my talents, and we're going to figure the rest out. Kobe was that in 96, but like I said, when Shaq leaves, the team gets torn down. Now he's back dragging around a bag of Gabricio in 2005. He had to figure out, okay, give me this piece, give me that piece, give me this piece, give me that piece, and I got to build a 200-piece puzzle, which is what happened in the late 2000s.
That was also to his detriment, though. And here's why that was also to his detriment. It was also to his detriment because he had already experienced winning. Not only did he already experience winning, he was already well into his career. When Shaq left, when all of those guys left, we're in 2004. We're in year 8. I'm already that dude. So this is who I am at this point. I am an elite player. And now I got to go back to being with the number 1 overall pick, the Los Angeles Lakers select Kobe Bryant. And we basically got to start this thing all over again. And we got to put this piece by piece. Well, he wasn't feeling that.
That's something he had to learn how to do, though, huh?
Right. And not only was he not feeling that, he wasn't fit. Not only was he not feeling that, he wanted out. This is not what I came here for. He wanted out.
But he didn't, though. He didn't. Though.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
And then what happened?
Absolutely wanted out.
But he wanted out. He wanted to come to Chicago, but he didn't. And what happened? 2008 happened. The blessing and a curse. He gets his team. He gets Pau Gasol halfway through the year, and that's all he needed. 18. What you average? 18 and 9. That's all I.
19 and 9.
19 and 9.
19 and 10. Actually,
it wasn't 10. It was like 19 and 9, which is serviceable. That's pretty good quality. That's
better than that.
That's pretty good quality, right? That's not Dwayne Wade. That's not Chris Bosh. That's not Kyrie Irving. That's not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's not.
Oh, you're not selling this dude short.
Hold on. That's not that, Unc. Would you agree? Pau Gasol is not on the level of those guys that I just named as second options for their respective teams.
At that time when he was running with the Lakers, absolutely, I would. Absolutely not. I won't agree with that. And here's why I don't agree with that.
So Pau's on the level of Kyrie. Pau's on the level of Kevin Love. Pau's on the level.
Let's make sure.
Pau's on the level of Cap.
Let's make sure we 100% clear. Pau Gasol in the 08-09 season when the Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA championship, he was FIBA Player of the Year. That's the best international player in the world. And to prove it wasn't a fluke, in the 09-10 season when they won it again, he was FIBA Player of the Year. That means 2 years in a row, I'm the best international player. Add that to the fact that he was also All-NBA both of those seasons.
No doubt.
I know you looking at that. I'm not done. I know you looking at the numbers, and I know you looking at the 19. I'm not listening to none of that. You know why? Because I'm the best international player on the planet, and on top of that, I'm also all NBA both the years. You know what that makes me? That makes me one of the 10 best players on the planet. This is who Kobe Bryant was running around with. Stop shortchanging this dude.
Players.
He was 10, just okay.
15.
I'm the best international player on the planet, and I'm an All-NBA player. I'm arguably one of the best. I'm one of the 10 best players on the planet. Stop shortchanging this dude like he was just okay, because he was a lot better than that.
Okay.
Way better than that.
Okay, you can make a legitimate case that Pau Gasol was the best power forward in the game at that time. You could make a legitimate case, or at least top 3, right? You could make that case. But the simple fact remains. He was giving you 19 and 9. That's not on the level of Kyrie Irving. That's not what Cap was giving Magic. That's not.
You don't have to do that.
I know.
I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that.
That's
not because I couldn't do it.
No.
I don't have to do it.
Why didn't he have to do it?
Because I got to do it on a team that shoots the ball all the time, and he.
No, I got a dog on the team That's the greatest Laker of all time, and he's going to take us to that promised land. He's not going to take no for an answer. That's why.
Without me.
In 2000, of course, hell no. Everybody needs help, though, Unc. But my point is, some guys out here say, I'm going to need a Kyrie to put up 26 a night for me. Some guys say, I'm going to need Cap to give me 25 and 12. Some guys say, I'm going to need – well, and then there's other guys that say, hey, Scotty, if you can give me 17, 7 and 7, we going to the promised land. Hey, pal, if you can give me 19 and 9, we're going to go. That's all? I don't need you giving me 25, 28, damn near leading the league in scoring, jocking with position. I don't need that. This is all I need from you.
Not because I can't do it. Not because I can't do it.
That's not the point.
That's exactly the point.
And who says
that's why you shortchanging them?
Who says Pal's never been that?
That's why you're shortchanging him, because he wasn't 25 a game. Not because I can't do it, right? Not because I can't do it, but because that's not required of me. Same logic that you're giving me with Tim Duncan. Same logic that you're giving me with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving can absolutely score the basketball because that's what they need him to do. Can Kyrie Irving take a lesser role? But if you say that, well, why are you holding him back? Well, what's for the betterment of the team?
Are we sure that we were holding Pau Gasol back?
Well, obviously you weren't, because we saw what happened when he went off, how he went off. And Kobe was that guy. Gasol always had that dog in him. Let's make sure we clear.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
I've always said this to you. You either got that dog in you or you don't.
No doubt.
I can't put it in you. I can bring it out of you. I can't put it in you, though.
No doubt.
I can't do that. And what Bryant did was he brought that dog out of him.
Absolutely, and everybody else that was on that Lakers team, because he ruled with an iron fist. He was the ultimate leader, albeit some guys didn't agree with the way that he chose to lead, but it led to 3 consecutive NBA Finals appearances. That loss in 2008 was a blessing and a curse, because Kobe would never taste that again. He told himself he'd never taste that again, and he won back-to-back NBA championships after that to a great Boston Celtics team. Not only that, he got his revenge. It's a lot of people that can't speak on something like that. Kobe was blessed into a great situation to inevitably get that foundation ripped from underneath of him. Then he had to go into a character he's not used to being and figure out himself as not only an NBA player, but as a person while going through adversity at that time, off the field, off the court, right? So now we got to lock in. You give me a solid piece in Pau Gasol, and I promise to take us to the promised land. And he delivered that. As a Los Angeles Laker, the only Laker with 2 different numbers retired, albeit he wore 2 different numbers, you better damn show right retired both of them numbers. 2 Hall of Fame careers in both numbers. We know all the accolades that Kobe accomplished. Got cheated out of a couple of MVPs, but that's neither here nor there. 20 years with the Los Angeles Lakers, damn it, Kobe Bryant is the Los Angeles Lakers. When you think of the Lakers, you think of Kobe Bryant. Like I said, both him and Magic blessed into great situations, but Kobe had to redefine himself and figure out how to be a winner again. That's something Magic never got the opportunity to show us, because we got robbed of those four seasons. Not to say that Magic could not do that. Not to say that Magic couldn't do it. But can you imagine if he loses Cap, which he did for a season, still went to the NBA Finals? Can you imagine if
won the league MVP?
Right.
Twice,
can you imagine if not only he loses Cap, but he lost Worthy? Can you imagine that? Like, what if he lost Cap? What if he lost
AC
Worthy?
Green too?
AC
Green.
What if he lost all his dogs that was with him for the whole run of his title reign? The last 5 championships, the last 9 finals appearances? He went to 9, right?
9 times in 12 years.
The last 9 finals appearances, I'm the only lone dog left. Can you imagine having to rebuild that foundation and inevitably finding a way to reach the top of the mountain once again? You have to give credit where credit is due with that, with an entirely new unit.
I never discounted that, right? What needs to be understood is he's the only guy left from that three-peat. Before Derek Fisher showed up, he was the only guy left. Wasn't nobody else there that was on that three-peat team except him.
And
he's
Phil.
The only guy left. And Phil, right? And then Phil was gone for a little while. They brought Rudy Tomjanovich in, and they were talking about hiring Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah.
All right, I can appreciate that logic. But they also didn't do as good a job because Kobe had already recognized what winning looked like. And they weren't moving their feet fast enough. They were dragging. And he was thinking, listen, man, My legacy is going to be about winning. And I'll be damned if I'm going to just sit around here and we're going to keep losing. That's not going to happen. And he asked.
And what year was this? This was what?
This was in 07 after they had lost.
I was about to say 07.
This was in 07 after they had lost for the second time in 3 years. They didn't make the playoffs. Then they lose twice in the first round, and he was over it. Because my legacy is going to be about winning. All right, I definitely get with that logic, no question about that. But he also had an organization in Mitch Kupchak. In Jerry West was already gone, but in Mitch Kupchak, and Phil Jackson was still there. In these guys who said, "Listen, hang out. We're gonna fix this. We're gonna fix this. Hang out, and we're gonna make sure that we get you what you need to give you an opportunity to win."
I think
and
Jerry
they
West
did that.
was with Memphis at that time.
Yeah, he was already. Jerry West was already gone. So with that being said, I can appreciate the logic that Kobe Bryant is everything that the Lakers are. All-time leading scorer and all-time leader in field goals, all-time leader in steal. I can appreciate it because you know how I am. Longevity matters. I got Shaq ahead of him on the top 10 list. I don't have Shaq ahead of him on the Laker list because he was there for 20 years. He was there longer than Shaq.
Facts.
He did more than Shaq.
Facts.
No doubt about that.
Same
I
here.
have to put that.
100%.
I have to put him there.
Yep. I'm right. I got Shaq higher than him on the top 10 list, but I don't have him higher than him on the Lakers list.
I do not.
But like I said, my only issue was with the whole statement was the fact that Jason Williams actually said what he said. Albeit he recanted, and everybody's entitled to make mistakes. You ain't been provided with new information, so I don't know how your opinion changed. But he could have been pressured into it. But he said what he said. You said it's not ridiculous due to the fact that some people actually believe that. To me, it is ridiculous because I believe Kobe is the greatest Laker, and Magic is the only one that should be in the discussion, period. Nobody else. Not Cap, not Shaq, not Jamal Wilkes, not Michael Cooper, not Elgin Baylor, not Wilt Chamberlain, not none of them.
And I've run down Jabbar's resume to you as a Laker in 14 years, man. What are we talking about here?
When I think of Lou Alcindor, do you know what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was averaging with Milwaukee? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was giving you 30 and 16 in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform. Do you know what he averaged his 14 years in L.A.? 22-9. 22-9. That's what he was. You know what Kobe is averaging in LA? What's understood don't need to be explained. 26-5-5. That's Kobe. Kobe has 32,000 points, 5,000 assists, 5,000 rebounds.
Right.
12-time All-NBA defensive. All in LA.
Right. And you leaving out, and the 14 years that Jabbar played there, he's also been on the all defensive team more times than Kobe. That's number one. Number two,
that's impossible because Kobe got the most.
Jabbar's 11 times. That would be Tim Duncan.
Right.
Jabbar's an 11-time All League defender. I apologize. Right.
Please.
So with that also being said, 3 league MVPs. I won the Finals MVP at age 37. Jake Bryant was already gone. I'm still doing it. I finished at age 37. At age 37, Jabbar finishes, I believe, third in the league in MVP votes. Bryant was already gone. I'm still doing it at that age. I'm still playing at a high level. He was already gone. So when I look at what Jabbar did over the course of his career with the Lakers, not just over the course of his career with the Lakers, there is no Magic without Jabbar. None of that happens.
Of course not.
I can say.
You can say it the other way around too.
Right. There is no Magic without Jabbar. There is no Jabbar without Magic.
Hell no. You think Jabbar get 5? If he reasonably, if that man doesn't get blessed with Magic Johnson falling from the sky in 1980, how many championships do you think Cap wins with the Lakers? Realistically. We might be talking about Larry Bird. We might be talking about Bird and them running off 5-6 rings. Yeah. That might be the discussion. Because
we'll never know.
I don't think, can we legitimately say, just to be honest with yourself, think about it. If that blessing in disguise doesn't fall from the sky and somehow the Lakers land the number 1 overall pick over the Chicago Bulls in the 1980 draft, we could have had Magic. But we lost the coin flip. I'm kind of glad it didn't happen because 4 years later we drafted the GOAT. And if we had Magic, that probably wouldn't have been possible. But that's neither here nor there. They needed each other. Magic, Kareem won without him early in his career. Magic never won without Kareem.
He did do work. He did do work without Jabbar.
No doubt.
He absolutely did.
But you can make a legitimate case that Magic has been put in the best position of all time out of any top 5 pick. You can't name me a top 5 pick that was born into a better situation than Magic. It's going to be hard to think about it. Like 100%.
Oh, no, that Celtics team was whack when Bird got on it. That Celtics team was whack when Bird got on it, and he made them better.
They claimed Bird like better. 3 years in advance, though. Bird legitimately got drafted 2 years before Magic did. They just came out together. So they had Bird's rights. But to be honest with you, when Bird got there, that team, you can't tell me that was a better – Cap was the league MVP in Magic's rookie year. They don't get no better than that. The guy next to me wins league MVP, and I'm that dude. You'll never find a situation that was being blessed in better than Magic Johnson. We have to take that into account.
Yeah, when I think about it, maybe and be an integral part of what's going on. When I think about it, Penny Hardaway is the only guy that I can remember because when he showed up in the 93 season, 93-94, Shaq finished second in the league in MVP votes.
Yeah, Nick
Anderson, I think he's the only one.
He's close.
So, he's the only one that I can actually think about over the course of all of that time. Yeah. But I mean, Magic did walk in. Magic did come into he made a great team. He made a good team better. Yes, he did.
No doubt.
But I can't discount Bryant walking into the situation because if he stays in Charlotte, I don't know if we're talking about Kobe like that. They might have screwed him up.
Well,
they might have wrecked him.
That's the greatest executive of all time.
Right. If he ends up in New Jersey with the Nets, they might have screwed him up too. So we never know. I think the way that they brought him along and getting rid of Dale Harris, how they had to, because I do think that even though he was young, Dale Harris definitely had a hold on him that needed to be let go. Like, you got to turn this dude loose.
Yeah.
You have to turn this. If you come on, man. I'm starting an All-Star game and I ain't starting on my own team.
Facts.
You got to turn this dude. You got to turn this dude loose.
They didn't believe in playing them young high school cats like that back then. That was the biggest issue. Man. That was the biggest issue. We took way too long on this, but I loved every bit of it. It needed to be. This is a conversation we needed to have because I believe Kobe Bryant is the greatest Laker of all time, and I'm not saying it's not close. I do think Magic is a close second, but I think Kobe should get the slight edge because he exemplifies the Mamba mentality and he is LA. Like when people Kobe never openly said anybody other than himself was the greatest Laker. He just acknowledged the talent that the Lakers have had on the different rosters throughout the history of the game. Former Lakers have openly admitted, teammates of Magic Johnson have said, that man is the greatest Laker of all time. I've never heard Kareem speak on who he feels, but I've heard Magic, who's an all-time great Laker. We discussing him. You think he's the best. I've heard him say Kobe's the greatest Laker while he was alive. During his retirement ceremony, he introduced Kobe as the greatest Laker of all time, Magic himself. I've heard Jerry West say, no, Kobe is the greatest Laker. It shouldn't be a discussion. I've heard him say that. Sit right on that TNT podium and say that. So we got other guys that are in the same discussion that we talking about conceding that to Kobe Bryant because that's how much he meant to the franchise. And you know them old school guys, they quick to hate on a new school cat. You think Jerry West would fix his lips to say Kobe if he really didn't mean it? You think Magic, who's the guy that's actually up for that debate, would fix his lips if he really didn't mean it? I doubt it.
Oh, well, there's a lot of times where Magic has said things that have been questionable, and it was maybe he did feel like that, and maybe it was the right thing to say. But when I've seen what I've seen with Magic, when I've seen what I've seen with Jabbar, when I've seen what I've seen with Kobe, when I look at these guys, Magic is at the top of the list. We're talking about a guy who basically transcended the game. There's no guy in the history of that organization who was more impactful for the game than he was. They made the game cool. They made the game not just global
for the whole league. Yeah.
He made not just and with the exception of the high flyer in Chicago, that wasn't going on.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That was not going on. So that's why I have him at the top of the list. And again, when I think about Jabbar, you already know how I feel about him. So
no doubt about that. But since we're on the subject of the Lakers, let's talk about this struggling Lakers team. 10th seed in the Western Conference right now. But the only bright spot is the fact that LeBron James is having arguably his greatest offensive season he's ever had in the history of the game, in the history of his career. Bron's giving you 38 and 6 right now on 52% shooting from the field. It's insane. At 37 years of age, it's incredible. So legitimately, the Lakers have been nothing short of Gabricio. But what I want to discuss, the Lakers are, god damn, they are 31 and 42. This team is ass. Oh my God. They 31 and 42?
You don't even have to tell everybody the record. Just say they 10 games under 500. Just say that.
Man, they ass. The Lakers are garbage.
Just say that. That's not a playoff team. That is not. This is why I'm not a fan. This is why I'm not a fan of the play-in tournament. That is not a playoff team. It's not. No.
But my question to you is, legitimately speaking, though, this will be like the 4th or 5th time that LeBron's missed the playoffs in his career. Long career, right? Should he take a legacy hit for not making the playoffs if they miss? Damn the play-in. Should LeBron James's legacy be affected? Albeit, he's doing things to overshadow that. Like, a lot of people not talking about whether or not this should be a hit on his legacy, simply because not only the offensive paralysis he's putting on, but the fact that he just passed Karl Malone and he's on the brink of passing Cap probably next season. So it's getting overshadowed. Should this be a hit on his legacy if he misses the playoffs with 4 of the top 75 players of all time on this roster?
Well, we already know what this roster looks like on paper, and we also know what it looks like now. So that's like night and day. But I'll add that to the fact that when I look at this unit and when I look at what James has done, I hear people telling me a lot of times that LeBron James, when we had the Kobe Bryant discussion about top 5 Lakers, that LeBron James is in the conversation of top 5 Lakers. And I said, you are out of your mind.
Facts.
You are absolutely out of your mind. Number one, he doesn't have nearly the longevity that any of the all-time great Lakers have. That's number one. Number two, if they were to miss the playoffs this year, that would be twice in 4 years that he has not made the playoffs. 3 times in those 4 years, 2 times they didn't make the playoffs, and 1 first-round exit. Mm-hmm. We can't talk about you in the pantheon of great Lakers. No, we cannot do that at all. Playoffs. We can't do that at all, right? So, with that being said, would his legacy take a hit if he were not to make the playoffs this year? For some people, it absolutely would, because they would look at what he has on paper. Well, why can't you get this done? But there's also a flip side to that too, because if they were in first place and they were rolling, the question would be, it wouldn't even be a question. It would be more of, well, look at who he has. This is what he needs in order to get there. It would not be a credit to him. It's almost damn if you do, damn if you don't with this guy. Because when I look at what he's doing, as of right now, he's leading the league in scoring. The Lakers are in 9th place in the Western Conference, right? So essentially they're in the play-in tournament. Rewind the clock back 1 year ago. The Golden State Warriors were in the play-in tournament. Steph Curry was leading the league in scoring, and he was up for league MVP at the end of the year. And it was a big deal. James, on the other hand, will not be up for league MVP simply because this is what's expected of him.
No, now, that's not why. Stephen Curry finished with the 8th seed into the playoffs. Yes. He lost his way out of it by losing back-to-back games. Also, Curry's team was like 5 games above 500 in that 8th slot. Right. The Eastern Conference is better than the Western Conference this year.
Right.
They're the 10th seed, 10 games behind 500. That's why he's not in the MVP race.
Well, they're the 9th seed right now. That's number one. He ain't whoa. Just because they're winning, if you look at this unit. Right? If you look at this unit, everything that we can't go off of stats, because if we go off of stats, now we completely changing the narrative. Now we changing the criteria, and we can't do that. Right? We can't do that.
No, but I just don't. I agree.
I just don't appreciate the double talk from what's going on with James. Now, is his legacy going to take a hit? I don't think so. But there are some people who will tell you, well, this is the second time in 4 years that your team didn't make the playoffs. You winning the NBA championship 1 time in 4 years, because that's the standard that he set. Even for us to expect him to be at that level at age 37 with the roster that they built, which, let's be clear, I gave them a pass early in the season, but can we be honest? These dudes is trash.
They trash.
These dudes are absolute.
I don't even think it's an expectation though. I don't think people expected LeBron to be this great this late in his career.
I did not.
I definitely didn't. I was anticipating some type of fall off, albeit it happened defensively. But even though we didn't expect it, now that he showed us that it's possible, it's like, okay, that's LeBron. I'm not looking at a guy that's a shell of himself. That's LeBron. So I expect you to do the same shit you've been doing the past decade. So it's not like, oh, it's year 19. Oh, he's in year 19. No, I don't care about that because you can't have it both ways. It can't be when he plays bad, he's year 19, he's old. Then when he plays good, and it's year 19. It's either one or the other. So if I'm seeing that you're able to produce like you were 10 years ago, even better, say, okay, well, he didn't fall off. So now the expectations reign in. Now, if LeBron came in, he's averaging 22, 6 and 6. He clearly lost a step. Athleticism's wavering. Then you could say, look, man, he's in year 19. I say, man, I get it. LeBron can't shoulder this load like he used to be able to shoulder this load. You could obviously see his play is diminished. I can't tell that his play is diminished offensively. So why the hell would I lower my expectation of the LeBron I've been seeing for the past 20 years?
I only had him at this level for one more year. This season was the last season that I had him at this level. And I said that last year when I saw him, and I thought that he would only be able to play at this level this year, and then he would start to slow down because there's no way that I'm expecting a 38-year-old to be 26, 27 a game and still be the best player on a championship team. There was no way that I was expecting that.
Same.
Now, what I'm seeing now, right? What I'm seeing now is I'm seeing a guy who's essentially just rolling with what's going on. We're not very good. I'm not sure that we're going to win the NBA championship, but I'm going to give you guys a show. Now, what people will tell you is that it's stat padding, but it's kind of tricky. Well, see, here's the thing. It's stat padding, but then it's not, right?
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, though.
Well, here's why you'll tell me that it's stat padding. You'll tell me that it's stat padding because when they're getting blown out, he's still in the game, right? But he should if he gets taken out of the game and he doesn't play. Well, why isn't he playing?
Because they down 30 in the fourth with 7 minutes left. It's over with,
right? Well, we'll rest him on this. We'll rest him here, but we got him in here when we're down 20 again. Because let's be clear, 20-point leads in the NBA are not insurmountable.
Facts.
There's plenty of teams who come back from 20 points all the time.
The way teams shoot the long ball today, 20 points is not insurmountable.
So 20, 22, 23-point leads are not insurmountable. Teams come back from that all the time. James is in a position where he's damned if he do, he's damned if he don't at this point in his career. And there's really nothing else that he could do about it. So what he's doing right now is basically riding the wave and pass Malone. I think he's going to pass Jabbar next year. And I don't think he quits until he gets to that 40,000 point, 10,000 rebound, 10,000 assists, and he's going to be in the top 10 in steals all time. And then I believe that the chatter will have to stop. It will have to.
That's an opinion, but the point that you brought up, the stat in the past shit, I was on TikTok and I seen a video Chris Duhon was talking about, and Chris Duhon was telling a Kobe story about how he said they were looking at the stat sheet. I guess they was looking at the rundown. I don't know if you've seen this video, but he said they were looking at the rundown and stat sheet of what went on the NBA that day, right? The Lakers had a night game. LeBron had already played. He said, hey, damn, LeBron had a 40-point triple-double tonight. Kobe's like, whatever, you know? And Chris Duhon jokingly said, you'll never get a triple-double. You don't pass the ball. So Kobe said, okay, let's make a $5,000 bet that I get a triple-double tonight. He said, bet. I'll take that bet any day of the week. Kobe had a triple-double by half. And I went in the comments and I said, this is a prime example of how great players, all-time great players, can pad their stats. This is a prime example. Because nobody, when I'm reading the comments, everybody was talking about the greatness of Kobe and how great he was. And LeBron, damn, LeBron had a 40-point triple-double. Some things never change. But nobody saw what I saw. What I got from that story was That's the ability that all-time great players possess to do what the hell they want to do when they want to do it statistically. That's why when people try to compare Russell Westbrook to other guys because he can average a triple-double or he figured out the formula to average a triple-double, my immediate rebuttal is that's padding stats for him because, A, it's not transitioning to nothing more than a first-round exit. He's padding his stats. He's trying to get those triple-doubles. You don't think if Kobe wanted to average a triple-double or somewhere close to it, he could have? Was he known as predominantly a great passer? No. But could he go out there and try to strive to get 9, 10 assists a game? You don't think LeBron James could have averaged 35, 15, and 11?
James said it. He said they were asking him about scoring. He said, "You don't think I can lead the league in scoring every year?
Every year if I wanted to."
That.
That's why I hate when people say
every year.
That's why I hate when people say, "Well, if Westbrook's padding stats, why don't you go out there and put up a triple-double?" No, that's exerting unnecessary energy, for one. And for two, that's not my game. But that don't mean I can't go out here and do it.
Which would explain why James led the league in scoring, just to show you that I can do this.
Right.
Just to show you that at any point I can average 30, 32, 31 a game. I can do that.
Look what Jordan did in 89 when they asked him to play point guard. 10 straight triple-doubles.
I can absolutely do that. And I also want to kill that logic, what you just said about Westbrook. So can we please stop talking about Westbrook in the same category with Oscar Robertson? Because no, they're not the same player.
At all.
No, they are not. They're not the same player.
All.
So
I had this discussion with my man Dub. Shout out to my man Dub Fit Gaming. Hey, me and him had a conversation. He say Oscar Robertson wouldn't be a bucket in today's game. He doesn't think. He said if Westbrook played back then, he would have been a 40-point triple-double. And I'm sitting over here telling him, like, bro, Oscar Robertson played in the era where getting an assist was harder to do. I seen Chris Paul pass Bridges the ball on the wing. Bridges did a crossover dribble move, got past his defender, went to the lane, and they gave the assist to Chris Paul. That was not like that in the 60s. Back then, guys had to be in stride of scoring, in pursuit of scoring. Once you put the ball on the deck and you are no longer scoring off of the pass, it does not count as an assist back then.
It was one dribble. That was it. You get one dribble and that's it.
And that's it.
You putting the ball on the floor. And no, it's not dunking the ball into the big man and pounding the ball and then you get an assist for that. No, that's not the way that works.
That's what it was not. Way harder to get assists back then.
So. I want to dead that logic of Westbrook and Oscar Robertson. Can we please stop talking about those two in the same breath? I just want to dead that logic.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree because I believe Oscar Robertson was a complete animal. He was a complete animal, and he would be in today's game as well. But let's cover a little bit of NFL before we get the hell out of here. A lot of trades in the offseason went down. Von Miller leaves the Rams. Russell Wilson got traded. The most recent one, Patrick Mahomes loses his number one. Tyreek Hill, he goes to the Dolphins, signs like a 4 or 5 year, $120 million deal. X amount of dollars is guaranteed. It's been probably the craziest offseason I've ever seen in my life for the NFL. So I got a question, a legitimate question that I want to ask. And my question is, although with all the new faces and new places in the NFL, even if you didn't move, there's somebody that's going to be affected by the transition, right? Tyreek Hill going to Miami not only affects Tyreek Hill, but it also affects Patrick Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers losing his number one and number two not only affects Devontae Adams, the question marks there, but it also affects Aaron Rodgers. Will he be at an MVP level? He's a back-to-back MVP. Can he win a third in a row with it like this? So a lot of guys have a lot of things to prove in this up-and-coming season. I want to know, in your opinion, who do you think has the most pressure to succeed in their new situation? I'm not going to say team, in their new situation.
That's easy for me. I think it's Tua. Because Tua has everything he needs now, right? So now and I think the guy that's going to benefit in this offense, because Waddle was a 1,000-yard receiver last year, all right? Tua led the league last year in yards after 20 yards, in deep balls, 20 yards or more. Tua led the league in that stat, right? So now he's got his long ball threat. He's got his long ball threat in Cheetah, right? He's got his underneath guy now, He's got his underneath guy now in Cheetah also. But I think the guy that's gonna benefit
for the underneath shit too.
That's who I think. Look for Gesicki to turn into Mark Andrews this season. Look for him to be that kind of guy.
Wide open.
Yes, because look for him to turn into that guy, and look for Tua to be more accurate than he was last season.
I hope so.
Simply because now what he has on the edge, not only what he has on the edge, what he's got underneath, he's got the most pressure on him of all the guys to perform, because we gave you, now he's gotten everything that he needs in order to be
Jalen Waddle. They got Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys, who was their slot receiver. Yeah. They got Tyreek Hill from Kansas City. They got Mike Gesicki playing tight end. And they got Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert in the backfield. And
you saw what Mostert did with the 49ers. You saw who he was.
Yeah.
You saw who he was with the 49ers.
No doubt.
I think the pressure is on. I think the pressure is on Tua to be productive, but I think that he's gonna be able to handle it simply because what he has. There's no way he could fail in what he has right now. No way.
People are comparing it to Alabama. I agree. I think Tua has the most pressure on him to succeed, because it's probably like playoffs or bust for Tua Tagovailoa. If he doesn't do something to at least establish himself as one of the top young quarterbacks in the league, at least in the top 5, with all that he's provided with this season, it's going to be a big problem for Tua Tagovailoa. But I think Patrick Mahomes has a lot of pressure on him, right? Everybody was loving the Juju Smith-Schuster pickup as long as Tyreek Hill was there. Now that Tyreek Hill is gone, Juju was put in a similar situation that he was in Pittsburgh. You got to be the number one guy. Can he be that? I don't know. They got Mecole Hardman still over there. A lot of people lost faith in Mecole Hardman. I'm one of them. Yeah, he's fast, but I don't think he's the guy. He had an opportunity to solidify himself as the number 2 last year. He failed miserably at that, which is why they went out and got Juju Smith-Schuster to play that role. Then they thought they was going to re-sign Tyreek Hill. He cuts up. He says, hey, I'm out of here. He dips. Now Juju steps into that role. So now you got Mecole Hardman, you got Juju Smith-Schuster, and you got Travis Kelce for the underneath shit. They need some help. To be honest with you, hot take, the Kansas City Chiefs probably won't win that division. With the acquisition of Russell Wilson and with the Broncos, I think they might take the West next season. So that's I think.
Have we ever seen a season where all 4 teams in the division made the playoffs?
I can't remember the last time I saw that. I'm really trying to think. Maybe Arizona's division. Arizona, San Fran, LA, and it's never happened.
In Seattle.
That's never happened.
I'm looking at this division, the AFC West, and I don't know if it's possible.
That's what I'm
Chris,
saying. Is it possible?
I don't know if it's possible because you might have an 11 win team on the outside looking in.
That's crazy to even think about that. TC Smooth, appreciate the gifted sub, man. 3 months, appreciate the gifted sub.
You might have that. You might have a 10-win team. You might have a 10-win team from that division on the outside looking in. You might have a 14-win team in a wild card spot. Hosting the playoffs.
They did add an extra wild card. So is it possible with the extra wild card?
It may very well be.
That division. This is probably the best division I done seen in a long time. Kansas City, Denver Broncos, who else they got? Not San Diego, LA Chargers, and the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's correct.
That's incredible. KB, appreciate the gift this sub, man. Resub for 4 months. Appreciate that, man. That's a streak, 4-month streak. Appreciate you. But I don't think we ever seen that. Like this, and
the NFC West had 3 teams last year. The NFC West had
we see that.
The Rams and Arizona made the playoffs.
Before
an entire division, not just 4, the entire division makes the playoffs.
See, that's the thing. Like, speaking of KB, just dropped the gifted sub. Me and him was having a conversation earlier about fantasy this season and how unpredictable fantasy is going to be simply because it's so many new faces and new places. You really can't put your finger on production. Usually you got an Antonio Brown where you're like, okay, him and AB going to get off. You know what you're going to get from AB. You know what you're going to get from Christian McCaffrey. Or you know what you're going to get from Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott's not for sure. Christian McCaffrey's become injury prone. Julio Jones is released. Antonio Brown is not on the team. Who do we have as a if you're in fantasy right now and you play fantasy, who the hell you taking with the number 1 pick? Jonathan Taylor? There's usually a consensus number 1 pick. There's so many new faces in new places. Devontae Adams, how's he gonna be with his old college quarterback? Aaron Rodgers, who's gonna take Tay Adams' spot? Is Tay Adams still gonna hold his title as the number 1 receiver in the league? Like, who do you chase? That's a good one. That may be like one of the few consistent pieces that you could really put your finger on and say, okay, I know that guy's going to be productive. But it's hard to say. The NFL is going to be real shaky this year because I got expectations, but who's to say that what I'm expecting is actually going to happen? Because it's going to be real hard to call, real hard to predict what's going to happen this season in the NFL. It's going to be real spicy. I'll tell you that right here, right now. But let's have a quick talk about these Celtics, and then we're going to get the hell up out of here. The Boston Celtics have been amazing as of late. This was a team that I clown. I had something to say a few months back about Jaylen Brown and about Jason Tatum, how they possibly may not be those guys, how they needed to come together and they needed to find a solidified leader in this locker room. I still don't know if they did that, but as far as winning is concerned, these guys have been nothing short of exquisite over the past few months. Like just for shits and giggles, these boys won 28 of their last 24 games, the Boston Celtics. 21 of their last 24 games. 21 of their last 24 games. They lost 3 games in a 24-game stretch. That's impeccable. And people say, well, why? What made Boston so good all of a sudden? Well, I'll tell you why. His name is Jason Tatum. Because during that stretch, he's giving you 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Most importantly, on 49% from the field and 40% from 3. That's been the biggest discrepancy with Jason Tatum. Can he maintain efficiency? Yeah, he's a hell of a scorer, 6'10", can do everything in the book. Give it to you however you want it. But can he maintain efficiency on a consistent basis? And if he keeps this up, we got to start talking about Jason Tatum as one of the best scorers in the league. What you think, Unc?
You already know how I feel. He's my favorite player under 25. I think that in another year, 2 years tops, I think he's going to be in the MVP conversation. I think we're going to have this conversation about him being the best player in the game. I absolutely believe that. But I think that the thing that you left out, which is the most important thing, Boston got the number 1 defense in the league.
Yeah.
Numero uno. Not only do they have the number 1 defense in the league, they got the second best shot blocker in the league and a top 15 rebounder in Robert Williams. I think they got their rim protector. I think that they got their interior defender. I think that this Boston Celtics, they only won game out of first place in the East too, by the way.
Right.
Only one game.
They went from being ninth seed to second seed.
They only won game out of first place in the East. So I still think that they're a lead guard away. I think that they're a Kyle Lowry type, a Rondo type of lead guard. I don't think Marcus Smart is that guy that can push them over the edge. I don't think
they need a leader. They need a leader. They need a point guard that's a leader. That's what they need.
I think they're a lead. They're a lead guard away from really challenging for the Eastern Conference and being a legit championship contender. But I do think that they're knocking on the door. I think you got your franchise player, you got your complete all-around player in Jaylen Brown. I think you got your dirty work guy in Robert Williams. So this Boston Celtic team, I'll tell you what, if they do end up in the finals, there's some people that are not going to want to talk to me, especially how I've been talking about Jason Tatum. It's some people that's not going to want to talk to me. I can tell you that right now.
I hear that. Well, shout out to the Boston Celtics. They have been balling. Anything I said about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I take it back. Those guys are studs, man. Look, you're entitled to change your opinion when provided with new information. They were garbage. They were ass-tastic, losing games down stretches that they should have won with those 2 caliber type players on the same court at the same time. I felt like they wasn't closing games out. And they were playing young and immature, not acting, playing young and immature, turning the ball over down the stretch, not knowing, understanding clock management, situational basketball. Jason Tatum was taking a lot of tough shots. A lot of ISO ball was being played. These guys are playing more through the floor of the offense. Guys are getting their touches in. Nobody's complaining. Everything's all gravy like mashed potatoes when you win it, right? So shout out to the Boston Celtics winning 21 out of 24. That's incredible. Jason Tatum nearly averaging 37 and 5 during that stretch. Great efficiency splits. Shout out to Jason Tatum. Shout out to Jaylen Brown. Them boys is rolling. My Bulls have been Gabricio. We falling completely off the map. I don't even want, in the words of Kanye West, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to say nothing. I can't say shit. Like, people been in my comments like, OG, you been real quiet about them Bulls. What's going on? Questions from the fans, man. Rein them in. Anything y'all want to talk about, anything y'all want to discuss, we here to discuss it with you. Go ahead and rein in those comments, those questions, anything you want to talk about, man. You know we here, man. The barbershop is open. Let's close it up right.
I knew we was gonna get to the bottom of that. I knew we was gonna get to the bottom of that Kobe Bryant stuff, and I'm glad that we did, and I'm glad I was able to clear the air.
Yeah,
now I'm still. If you're looking for me, I ain't hard to find. So
hey,
come with it.
Real talk.
I still got it.
You know, it's gonna go up. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna retweet it. I tag you in it. You do what you want with it. You know, it's you know, I'm gonna make sure the TikTok community sees it. You know, especially the apology to Theo, and you know, because you know that needed to happen. I'm like, damn, you know, Theo kind of caught the bad end of that. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you know, this was a whole full episode. You know, Unc got to get some shit off his chest because I'm confused about it. I'm like, what did he mean? That's not ridiculous.
It's interesting you mentioned that about Joe Dumars because I literally just had a discussion. My man just asked about why don't we give guys like James Worthy and Joe Dumars. I literally just had a discussion about Joe Dumars not being on the top 75 list. And I'm having a difficult time with a 6-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA performer, a 5-time All-League defender, 2-time NBA champ, and a Finals MVP, not being one of the top 75 players of all time. But Lenny Wilkins, who not one time ever made the All-NBA team, is on it. I got a problem with that.
Speak on it.
I got a problem with that. I absolutely have a problem with that.
I got a problem with that, too. Would y'all start y'all team with a healthy Embiid or Kawhi? That is tough, man.
Well, Kawhi is who you just said. You said what Magic walked into. That's what Leonard walked into.
That's true.
If I'm building my unit, I'm building my unit around Embiid. If he could hold up, absolutely, I'm building my unit around him. Leonard is the guy.
Yeah, I might have to choose Embiid too. But Kawhi. I think Embiid is a better leader. And I think that could be the difference because they both great defensively. They both great offensively. I know what I'm getting from both of these guys, so it comes down to intangibles. And I think Embiid is a better leader than Kawhi, and that may go a long way. So I may have to go with that. Why do you think the Suns are being disrespected this season? I heard Book talking about that on the podium, about how he feels like he don't get the respect he deserves, and the Suns don't get the respect. This back-to-back #1 seeds, and nobody's talking about it.
Man. That's all we do is talk about the Phoenix Suns. Can we dead that already? Just so you know, the Phoenix Suns are not the only team in the league that's awesome.
Right.
But we talk about the Phoenix Suns all the time.
Yeah.
We don't talk about them. Them dudes ain't sneaking up on nobody.
No, they're
not just showing up. Yeah. This the defending Western Conference champ who lost in the NBA Finals last year, who are the #1 seed in the West by 9 games.
Again.
Nobody's sleeping on them. Nobody's sleeping on the Phoenix Suns.
That's
all everybody talk about.
I think more so Book is mad at the fact that people talking about the Lakers and they're not even in the playoff picture. And I think that's where his frustration lies. Because the Lakers probably, out of every team in the Western Conference, we probably disrespect Memphis or Utah more than we disrespect the Suns. And that's due to the fact that everybody likes to talk about the Lakers and LeBron and what's going on, what to fix it. We talk about it a lot on this show. It's news. LeBron's arguably the greatest player of all time. So if it's some shit good or bad that needs to be talked about, we're gonna talk about it. So
I know you. Just so y'all know, me and Chris, we over talking about the Lakers. We only talk about them because we have to.
Right. No doubt.
Me and him, we straight over talking about these. If we ain't have to talk about these dudes,
I would never speak on them boys again.
You wouldn't hit. The Lakers are like an ex chick. Like, I don't hate you, but if I don't got to talk about you, I'm good.
Right.
I won't say a word about you. I swear.
But
that's
y'all
what I'm
like it, and y'all consistently ask me about this shit. So
right, because I would not talk about these dudes. I promise you, I wouldn't.
MVP for the NFL next year. Early
I think
MVP.
That's good. I think that I'm coming back to reclaim what was about to be mine before I got hurt. He's going to be the league MVP, first running back since Adrian Peterson. I'm about to reclaim what was about to be mine before I got hurt.
Oh, King Henry?
Before I got hurt, I was going to be the league MVP. Going away, by the way. I seen what Aaron Rodgers was doing. I seen what Tom Brady was doing. He was on his way to 2 racks again. And they was in first place.
That's a hell of a question. What's a team that's going to win a lot of games and throw a lot of passes? I'm going with a quarterback. You know what? Give me Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is going to win the MVP. If I could, without knowing nothing, my blind MVP, I'm going to take Joe Burrow next year. Even though I think Justin Herbert, I think Burrow's better than Herbert. I'm taking Burrow next year, MVP. I do. You know I've been on that bandwagon.
You have been on the Joe Burrow bandwagon.
Yeah,
yes.
I think y'all know I love LSU, man. Y'all know that's probably my favorite. That's probably by default. Like Clemson, LSU, I check up on them every year just to see what the hell going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, y'all know I love my LSU running back. I go over there and I check, and I don't know. It's just subconscious like that. I don't even, it wasn't even intentional. It just happened like that. But we're going to go ahead and get the hell out of here, man. I appreciate every single one of y'all. W's in the chat if you enjoyed yourself. Once again, if you're loyal on YouTube, y'all already know what to do. And if you're new, make sure you hit that sub button. Tune in to me and Unc Tuesday, Friday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time. We appreciate all of you guys having us. You know what I'm saying? And we only do this for y'all. Like I say, if it wasn't for y'all, me and Unc could probably just be texting, watching the game, chit-chatting, doing it how we do it. I appreciate everybody that tunes in every Friday night, every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. If you can't catch it, this episode will be up on YouTube tomorrow morning. Unc, take us home.
Take it light, but take it.
We out.